world. This is Akshay Pallav from Essentially Sports, and today we have with us somebody who is really special to us. Somebody who has been learning martial arts since he was 7 years old, somebody who has a great experience in MMA, somebody who has gone through promotions like World Series of Fighting, Extreme Cage Fighting, the UFC, and now is a part of the member of the PFL. We would like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Marlon Moraes. Welcome, Marlon, to Essentially Sports. We are very happy to have you along. How are you doing today? How's the day going?
I'm good. I'm doing what I love. Just got back from training and I'm excited to perform again this season for Professional Fighters League. And I couldn't be happier. I have
Yeah.
a beautiful family, and life is good.
Yeah, talking about your family, I saw you have got two wonderful kids and you've got two dogs as well.
Yes, I'm married. My wife Isabella. I have two kids, Ryan, Raphael, two dogs as well.
Yeah.
And they are part of the my life and the biggest accomplishment that I ever got in my life.
I understand, Marlon. And also, talking about a fighter's day is generally very much filled with the things that you do for your fitness. Things like your diet is important. You try to keep yourself in prime physical conditions. So, what does a typical Moraes day look like? What do you do throughout the day?
I'm a healthy guy, I like to wake up early. Generally I wake up around 7:30. I help my wife get the kids to school, and they go to school, and I come back. I eat my breakfast. I eat really clean, and I'm always eating my eggs, and coffee. And after that, I head to the gym. I train mostly the days of the week from 10 to 1, and I get back home, and I do some things at home around my life, my my businesses, and around 4 or 5 o'clock I get back to the gym and I train 2 more hours. Of course, before training, always we have to eat after as well, and I train at night. I get back home and I enjoy with my family a little bit, and
Yeah,
that's how's my life. Simple. I try to be out with the dogs. I try
yeah,
to
yeah.
go to other place. I live in Florida. You guys know it's beautiful. We have beautiful beaches, and I try to go to the beach as much as I can and take my kids out. I love to be out
Yeah.
with the kids. I support any kind of sport they do. My son, both of my kids, they do soccer,
Soccer, yes,
and
I saw.
my older, he does jiu-jitsu as well.
Okay.
And that's what we want to leave for our kids, the example of a healthy life. And I don't care if my son's gonna be a soccer player, a musician, and I just want him to work hard for whatever he chooses for his life. And that's the legacy. I think the biggest legacy we want to leave for our kids.
Yeah. So, Marlon, you sound like somebody who treats the values that they get from the sport so much. You started learning martial arts when you were 7, and I'm sure you would have got so many learnings from martial arts, maybe discipline or self control or things like that. Are there any learnings that you have carried throughout your life, even outside in the life outside the cage when you're not fighting?
I think fighting taught me how to never give up on anything. Anything you want in your life, you can you can get it. You just have to work hard and believe you can get it. Sometimes you won't see answers, but if you persist, if you keep trying, the answer is gonna come. And when you involve it, you already had the answer. You won't even notice, but life will bring that to you. And I'm so thankful for every accomplishment I have in my life, and everything I have I own to martial arts. Not just I don't mean my house, the opportunity that to give a good life for my family, for my family back home, my father and my mother in Brazil.
Yeah.
But mentally, fighting taught me never give up, man. And anything is possible. Fighting is something that I see along the way. A lot of people they have more talent that I did,
Hmm.
but they stopped. They didn't keep trying, and I wasn't the talent guy in the room, but I was. I knew a little bit, and I kept trying. I kept training. I keep putting a lot of time into it, and
Yeah.
the answers came, and that's how I got to be a world champion, and that's how I got to fight for the UFC belt, and that's how I got to the PFL, the biggest tournament in the world
Right.
nowadays, and that's what I'm bringing for 2023 season, and that's how I'm gonna show to everyone that I can do anything, and you just have to believe yourself, work hard, and when people think you're sleeping, you are working, and when people count you out, you come back and you knock everybody out of your way.
Right, Marlon, and you look like you're really self motivated right now. I saw your last fight from the PFL. You look in prime physical condition, and yet in April 2022, we saw you retiring for a while. What made you take that decision? If you could take our fans through that.
um Last year I was in the UFC, and I went all the way up to fight for the belt. Unfortunately, I didn't win, and I went to a losing streak in the UFC, and I just didn't see nowhere to go in the UFC. I just didn't have the motivation to started everything back in the UFC. But the PFL gave me that opportunity to reset. I start over. My last fight in the PFL didn't came my way, but one thing I showed to everyone that I'm there, and I am one of the most dangerous guy in that division. I was winning my fight throughout the fight. I made it look easy the first and second round,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
unfortunately, in the fight, you can get caught, and that's what happened to me. And
exactly.
sometimes the better man won't win the fight, But I proved to everyone, um, I'm I'm one of the top guys in this division, and I can beat anyone out there, and the way I was fighting with him, and I saw my opponent fighting other guys, and the other guys they didn't even do what I did to him. The Brandon finished him, but I made the fight look easy in a grappling.
Yeah,
I turned easy to me. I saw his fight with Palmer. Palmer fought with him, but Palmer didn't make that fight look as easy as I did. And I'm looking forward to get back in this season, redeem myself, and win. I'm coming to win. I'm not gonna go there and just to fight to be part of it. I want to win. I want to win $1 million. I know Brandon. I've been with Brandon in the room, and Brandon is a great fighter, but that's nothing that I never see before, and that's it. I'm coming to win, and I know I can beat all these guys.
so talking about a little more about the your match with Sheymon Moraes, your compatriot from Brazil. I saw the match. You in the initial both the rounds, we could see that your striking was better. Your takedowns were sharp, and there was just one stray knock that you had on your face, and then things turned bad for you. Is there something that you thought if you would have done differently, things might have turned your way because it was almost there. It was easily in your grab.
Of course, there's always things to change, and I just think I fought that fight with a little sense of emergency, like, man, I gotta win this fight. That's my first fight. I gotta be impressive,
Right.
and that's how I fought the first round, and I really dominate him. And that's how I fought the second round. But then the third round, I didn't have to fight with that sense of having to get back to him.
Yeah.
I could just let go and just relax and enjoy and pick him apart. I could do that, but I I still try to finish. I still try to hang a little bit and exchange, and I didn't need that.
Right.
But we learn. That's a life lesson,
Right.
and we are 1-1. And why not start 2023 with number three? I won one, Sheymon won one. Let's do the third one for the first fight next season, and that's what I want. It's a big fight. I think makes sense for the promotion, and
Right.
why not? Let's
Yeah.
match up us and see who's the best fighter. I know I'm way better than him, but I have to prove again because I lost the last one.
I get it. I get it. So you talked about 2023. Now you're in the PFL. It's a new year. I'm sure you'll have new goals. What are the goals for 2023? What's the plan for PFL in 2023?
I cannot think differently. I have to see happening. My goal is fight Marlon Moraes, Sheymon number three, finish him, and kick off 2023 with a finish and
Yeah.
6 points, and looking straight to get another fight and qualify for the playoffs. And man, win and get that belt, and have a great year and show to everyone I'm one of the best fighters in the world in any division.
Yeah, so in your division, we have got Bubba Jenkins, Chris Wade. We have got Brendan Loughnane in your division. Is there one fighter that you would choose to take on in the cage, and you're eager to take him on? Who's that one fighter?
I like all these fighters you said, but I really like to watch Brandon. I really like to watch Baba Jenkins,
Yeah,
and I really like to watch the champion, the Russian guy. I forgot his name, and that's guys that I see at the level to win the championship, and I believe um, me and these guys, we are we are guys that are gonna be getting to the top, and one of these names are gonna win 2023.
that's great to know. All the best, all the best. YouTuber turned boxer and very popular figure around combat sports, Jake Paul has now signed with the PFL, and he has got a deal, and he has been talking a lot about the fighter first approach. And what's your take on it? Do you think he's really seriously concerned about fighters, or it's just a little show off thing that is happening around?
Man, a lot of people take Jake Paul, because this guy's a YouTuber, is this and that, but he's proving himself, and he's proving himself where nobody wanna be. People in life, they talk a lot of Instagram, Twitter, but they don't prove themselves. They don't go inside the octagon. They don't
Right.
go inside the ring and prove themselves. Jake Paul talks shit and he goes in there and he does shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I respect him, and that's how I welcome him to the PFL, and welcome. And now we are gonna fight for the same promotion. We're gonna do great things, and I see Jake Paul beating a lot of people. Why he's gonna beat people? Because he's not afraid. He fights everyone. He's taking the hard fights, and
He's
people
not
can
ducking.
say, "Oh, Jake Paul is this and that," but nobody can deny that he can fight. Of course, he can win. He can lose, but who don't? That's only
Right.
one person that won't lose. The one that's not fighting. The one that's behind the cameras watching and talking shit about the ones that are in there doing shit.
That's a great saying there. Because you have changed so many promotions already, you were there with the World Series of Fighting, you've been to the UFC, and now you are here with the PFL. Francis Ngannou was with the UFC and now is a free agent. Would you like to give some kind of a suggestion to him, being the more experienced person with shifting through different promotions?
Why not? I was saying last year in an interview that the PFL was behind Bellator in getting top three MMA promotion in the world, and I see now after the PFL championship last season, everything that happened, new champions, and the season was amazing. And we getting Jake Paul, and now the opportunity to sign Francis. I think it's a great opportunity for Ray Sefo and put a deal together and maybe meet with Francis and bring him to PFL and make Francis Ngannou part of PFL. And if we get him, I think we are already number two. And if we get Francis, and I know a lot of people in the UFC are not happy in the UFC, and I know a lot of people out there want to come to PFL, they just can't because they won't let them leave.
Yeah,
And I believe in the coming years, a lot of more fighters are gonna cross path to this way, and they're gonna be side by side with us. And PFL about to be one of the biggest promotions in the world.
yeah, yeah. And as the PFL grows big, you'll have big fights coming in. In your career, also, we have seen you having some great fights with Aljamain Sterling and Jose Aldo more recently. And these are big fights. And can you tell our viewers something about what goes on the preparation when you're going in for a big fight like that? The preparation behind the fight.
Cannot be much different, you know. You have to prepare yourself for a big fight, for a just a regular fight. Any fight, it's a fight. That's a octagon. That's a ring. You're gonna be locked in there, and only one man's gonna leave winner. And if you're not willing to win, to prepare yourself and give 100%, it's really hard to do what we do. And fighting with these guys, it's an honor. And fight with Aldo was amazing. Fight
Yeah,
with Sterling, see Sterling come out of losing to me by the way he lost and working his way up again, and now being dominating the bantamweight division, the hardest division I
yeah,
believe in the UFC. And it's great, you know. And that's what I want to do. I want to leave my name and my legacy, one of the toughest guys, and one guy that fought with the best, never pick opponents, and gave his best, you know, against anyone in any promotion.
yeah. Marlon, and also we were talking about things about you, and we got to figure out that you have BJJ in your background, and there is this big debate being raging on about BJJ being better or combat sambo being better for MMA, better suited for MMA. So, what's your take on it? Which one is better?
I think nothing is better. What's better is different. You know, we're doing MMA, and when you're inside the octagon, you gotta be willing to just fight. You know, if you have a fight IQ, and you, no matter if you are sambo, if you're striker, if you're grappler, and you just gotta be able to put it all together and mix it up. You know, some guys have jiu-jitsu background, but they only strike in a fight and they are successful. We are still in a process that find the best to MMA, but I believe the best is do everything.
Yeah, that's there. That's there. Also, I wanted to ask you that you have shifted divisions, weight classes when you came to PFL. What was the reason behind it, and how are you feeling in this new weight class of yours?
Sorry, I didn't hear your last question.
I just want to ask you that you have changed weight classes. You have changed your division when you came to the PFL. Now you're in the featherweight division. What made you change the division, and how comfortable are you in your new division?
And I am better. I feel better at the 145. I can use my speed, and I don't feel like the 45ers are stronger than I think I'm one of the strongest 145ers in the world. And it's just a matter of being inside a fight and fight. You know, guys are always thinking about the size, about the power, but fighting, it's skills. If your skill set is better than the other one, no matter how strong he is.
So you feel comfortable, and I hope you are ready to take on many more fighters this year. Um, some people feel that all fighters will have some kind of inspiration. You'll look up to some fighter that you would have been seeing through childhood, maybe while training. You would have learned some techniques from them, maybe skills, maybe their mental strength, maybe their mental toughness, maybe their preparation. So who's that one fighter, or maybe a couple of fighters that you look up to, you learn from?
I look up to Frankie Edgar. He's like a whole model of a fighter,
Yeah,
and he does a little bit of everything, and how he won, how he accomplished every goal in his career.
yeah.
That's a guy that I look up to, and that's for me a whole model of a fighter.
Any favorite fights from Edgar that you remember?
I remember watching him. I'm gonna say I have a favorite one because it was my first one, but I was there when he fought Chad Mendes, and that's my favorite. His my favorite fight is when he finished Chad Mendes.
And I understand, Marlon, that fighters have got very strict days and, crammed up with training, crammed up with diets, and you have to take care of your family, but still you would have found some way to decompress sometimes, maybe unwind. So, what is that activity that you do, or how do you unwind yourself after a very cramped up day? What's your hobby like?
I didn't hear. I didn't hear again. You broke off a little bit. Can you please repeat?
Yeah. I was trying to understand that because fighters have such cramped up days and they go through so much training, they have to take care of their diet and physical condition. And after all that, do you do something to unwind? What's your decompressing activity? How do you unwind yourself and feel lighter? Maybe engage in some activity that makes you feel better and relaxed.
I like to be out. I like to run. I like to take my dog out. I like to shoot. I
Yeah,
like to play soccer, and I like to invite my friends' house. Do barbecues,
yeah.
and I like to do a lot of things outside of fighting. And I love to play video game, and I do a lot of things. And especially here in the United States, we have opportunity to do so many things. We have a lake near my house. I like to go. I have a friend. We go on the four wheels,
Yeah.
and I love adrenaline. I love to be out.
An adrenaline junkie, is it? Can we call you that?
Yes,
Okay. You're a Brazilian and I see you wearing a German shirt. Tell us the story behind that.
that's the black and red over here. You see,
Yeah.
that's my team in Brazil, Flamengo. It's black and red. And when I
Okay.
saw this jersey in the store, I like it, and that's how I got it. I'm a big soccer fan as well,
Yeah.
and I like German team.
I forgot to ask you something very interesting that I found out. Your nickname is Magic, and I wanted to ask you where did that name come from? Who gave you that name? Is there a story behind it?
That's from Frankie Edgar and Chris Ligori,
Okay.
the two of my training partners, and they said, "Man, you are doing some magic things in training, and your nickname should be Magic," and that's how come it.
Okay. That's a nice story to have. Any messages that you would like to give your young MMA fans? I mean, anything that you would like to tell them?
Yeah, I want to thanks everyone that support the Professional Fighters League, the real MMA fans that want to see all the promotions growing, and we see the growth of every promotion, ONE FC, Bellator, and PFL, and other promotions, KSW, are growing around the world. The MMA fans they know about. That's
Yeah,
not like the guys that just think they know MMA but they just watch UFC. You
yeah.
know, and I want to send a message to the boss, the president, Ray Sefo. Thank you for every opportunity, and let's go. Marlon Moraes, Sheymon Moraes. I want that fight, the number 3, and I want to finish this guy.
You're really up for it. I can see that. All the best for that. Loved having you, Marlon. We had a very good conversation with you. Thanks a lot for your time. I hope you achieve everything that you want to achieve this year. Have a great year ahead and have a great fight ahead.